music up.
Turn the music up.
Drop that bass. Can you guys hear us okay?
I hope you can hear us.
Welcome everyone.
We're back.
It's Tuesday again. It's been like a month.
We took a break.
We took a brief break through things, or because of things not entirely within our control. Sorry, my monitor volume is way too loud. It's like like hearing me scream inside my ear. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing?
Yay!
2 tickets.
Hello, Chad and Vanessa.
I was literally about to say, not necessarily 2 tickets specifically, but not necessarily 2 tickets specifically. A lot of y'all had been pushing us to go to Cedar Point for a long time.
Encouraging.
Pushing. So I was going to be like, if y'all aren't on this live stream to hear what we thought.
Oh, I can't.
I'm looking for Storm and Thrills 10.
I
Where's
think
Tim
we're
at?
going to make waves.
I think the vlog is going to make more waves than the live stream, to be
Perhaps.
honest. But we'll see.
Let's see.
We got some stuff to talk about tonight. And I think honestly, like, most people will agree with or appreciate our viewpoints on most things. But there are a few hot takes in here as well.
Hot takes, yeah.
This was our very first visit to Cedar Point, which is if you clicked on this video or the notification without even looking at the substance of the video itself. Guess what? We're talking about Cedar Point tonight. We took our very first ever trip to Cedar Point over the holiday weekend, which was a little bit ambitious of us, given that it was July 4th and the 250th anniversary celebration of America, which meant crowds. It was also bananas hot, and we knew that going in. So it was an experience. And honestly, I think not to spoiler or get ahead of ourselves, but like it turned out better than I think we thought it would.
Yes.
So we have mostly good things to say. We are going to do what we normally do when we do these trip recaps and do the good, the bad, and the ugly, except for that because we're very positive people, we do the ugly, the bad, the good. So we end on a high note. Respected our choice to wait until now. Yes. Honestly, and I think it's important for us to kind of lead with this detail too. If you don't know us, if you don't know what we're about, we are theme park enthusiasts before we're coaster enthusiasts. So a lot of the time with Cedar Fair and Six Flags, now one and the same, that park umbrella, we've just found that it's like a lot of times it's rides on concrete and it doesn't hit the same notes as some of the theme parks that we've been to, such as, Disney, Universal, Fantasyland. You can't really compare apples to oranges, and I recognize that. There's amusement parks and then there's theme parks. But a lot of the people in our community, in our circle, and especially us being kind of like theme park vloggers or having an emphasis or a minor on theme parks with our content, we've been told time and time again, like, you gotta go to Cedar Point. You love Cedar Point. Cedar Point has the best rides, the best coasters, the best this, that, and the other thing. So it took a long time, but it was always part of our plan to eventually go. And we are going to talk about a lot of our first impressions and our first thoughts on our first experience tonight, but we also have one massive 2-day vlog coming, probably in a couple of weeks, because we do have one more Colorado vlog to push out as well. And we have Laurel's House of Horrors Purge event this weekend, which we're very excited for, and anyone who's local should come. Before we get moving, as per usual, we like to plug our socials. If you're not following us, if you're stumbling across this video, having no idea who we are, I am so sorry. We have done a terrible job of introducing ourselves. I'm Tim. This is Katie.
Hi.
We do a lot of things.
I thought you were about to say we do things like this.
No, that's for vlogs. And for when I mistakenly screw up the ending or the outro of any given video. We're Tim and Katie, one word, on Facebook, YouTube, and Blue Sky. Blue Sky we hardly ever use anymore. I'm sorry, we tried. It's hard to keep up with, but we have it. The real Tim and Katie is Instagram and Threads because someone already has Tim and Katie reserved on Instagram, and Threads spun off of Instagram. If we post short form content ever or at all, it's probably going to be there. We don't usually do that on YouTube. We like to kind of, our bread and butter is the long form content that we produce. It's all experience based. So when we have short form content, that's where it goes. We also do live stories from time to time. They're not always real time, but we post them. So that's probably where we're second most active. And then timandkatie.net, which is perpetually behind, but does have opinion pieces, additional information, helpful hints and tips and tricks, and things that you might like to know, either about us or about the places we've been and the experiences we've had. So please do check all of them out. Subscribe if you haven't. Like this video if you haven't. It really helps us grow. Moving on to the fun stuff.
Cedar Point.
Cedar Point Trip Report. Now, I will preface this by saying that prior to this, we have only ever been in Ohio for like the rest stops along the way to Illinois, where we have family and we more often go than the Ohio area specifically. So we've only ever moved through Ohio up until now. And I don't think we ever like took position in Ohio or like did an overnight in Ohio. Like we didn't have a lot of experience with like the Ohio culture, the Ohio people, the Ohio people. This was our first true visit to the state, in addition to it being our first time at Cedar Point. So as with crossing over into any state, there's state pride that we're not familiar with. There are little things like the Ohio Buckeyes that were really popular that we had no idea why they were so popular.
I have been a fan of Buckeyes for a long time. I mean, peanut butter,
I had them.
chocolate.
I thought they were good.
Can't really go wrong with that.
The Buckeye is also the state fruit, and it's not chocolate.
That did not know that. I only think of the Ohio State
in the rest stop.
mascot.
There's like this big map of like state fruit, battlegrounds, you know, so on and so forth, like all the cool things that you can see at Ohio, and that was one of them. Sorry, I'm going to perpetually adjust the screen.
Fun fact.
So all that
what
having
if
been
the
said,
bird was also called the Buckeye? Like everything was just a Buckeye.
Everything Ohio is Buckeyes. I mean, if everything Ohio and or Buckeye was also peanut butter filled, I would be all about that. But,
true.
So we're going to start with where we started. We arrived after 7-hour drive, give or take. It took longer than it should have because we left on a day when a lot of people were leaving for the holiday.
Yeah.
So we had to route around and go
traffic.
a different way than we should have gone, and so on and so forth. It took, honestly, probably closer to 7.5, 8 hours by the time we were in, and we got there pretty late. So we started at the hotel by arriving, checking in, and crashing. We were told several times over by many different coaster enthusiasts that the place to be was Hotel Breakers. Unfortunately, Hotel Breakers, because it is right on the peninsula with the park and all the attractions and rides there, is by far the most expensive, even if you bundle it to get discounts with admission and whatnot.
It's the deluxe resort of the Cedar Point package.
It's not, and our friends Chad and Vanessa who are in the chat right now, they've stayed at Breakers before. A lot of people who are probably going to be watching this on replay have stayed at Hotel Breakers, and I've heard decent things about it, but not like extraordinary things. You know, like I think for what it is, it's probably overpriced. I can't say that definitively because we haven't stayed there, but that was our vibe after reading through different reviews and whatnot. And we had to go in on fast lane for this trip because it was the holiday weekend and we only had 2 days. So we had already spent a huge chunk of change before we even got to the hotel, and we weren't trying to spend more on the hotel. So all of that being taken into consideration, the part of Hotel Breakers today will be played by Cedar Point's Express Hotel, which is much more in line with a value resort. It's its own thing. It has its own vibe, but I'll show you the picture that's on the website, because this is what we kind of like when we looked ahead. We were like, oh,
it was
okay.
A little bit like expectations versus reality. Not terrible. But like, this looks bright. It looks inviting,
vibrant. All the lights work.
Yeah.
You're not arriving in the middle of the night.
It looks fun. You know, it's got some personality.
Not to say that what we experienced was bad.
It wasn't bad. I was like, oh, there's something a little different about
walking in. This was our actual room, which was fine. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
And that's all it's ever going to be is fine. The Cedar Point Express Hotel was reminiscent of probably like a low-tier Marriott or a Hampton Inn. Like, we've stayed in rooms like this before and we had no trouble with this room, but it's not what was advertised on the website. I'm sure it's probably the same for Hotel Breakers and whatever
I
else.
wonder if those pretty comforters just got too hard to wash or something, and they're like, we gotta bleach the white stuff, just get white.
I was a little cold the first night, and it was
cold.
bananas hot outside, so they had cranked the AC, and we didn't realize until we like probably woke up the next morning that like we probably should have adjusted that.
So grateful, however, for very much working air conditioning.
Yes.
So I don't want to make it sound like we were ungrateful for that.
I'm assuming this is about breakers. It was cheaper during the week after Memorial Day. Interesting. Usually it's the week before Memorial Day when things are a little bit more affordable and less busy. But now we know.
Maybe because it was because people leading up to the holiday, people after the holiday. I don't know.
Fair
Makes
point.
sense.
Anyway, this was our room. It had everything we needed. It wasn't huge. Did have a fridge, did have a microwave, did have a coffee maker, and a couple of pods. But they only gave us enough pods for the number of nights we were staying. So you were all out by the day we were leaving, and we were having to stop for coffee on the way.
Yeah, but I also said, like, I didn't want to make hotel coffee the day we were leaving. I wanted to get out of there. I didn't want to worry about drinking a cup of coffee before.
When you have 7 hours to drive.
We could have, if we had let the maids in at any point while we were there, they would have given me more coffee.
But then I would have had to clean up.
Yes. So we made that choice. It was fine.
This was our restroom. Again, very reminiscent of Hampton Inn.
Something
Hilton brand
that is kind of
generic.
fun, which is probably, I don't know if this is the case for all properties attached to Cedar Fair and now Six Flags properties. We did have like boysenberry soap and shampoo, which is not Berry Farms kind of thing.
They inherited that.
So I thought that was kind of cool. Very, very purple. A little almost unsettling how purple it is when you're putting it on your body, but it smelled good, so that was cool.
I like boysenberry everything. To be honest.
Me too. It
does remind me of
it made me wish the boysenberry punch was at.
Other things about the hotel of note: the Wi-Fi was free but a little bit finicky. It kicked us off pretty much every day, and then I had to like reboot my whole computer.
They also make you like put in your full name, email address.
Yeah, you do have to sign up for an account to get access to the internet, which is a little bit annoying. But hotel perks made it worth staying on property. There's a couple of different resorts, and honestly, the cheapest one that we could have stayed at if we wanted a completely different experience was the Sawmill Creek, like cabins and campsites. That was by far the cheapest option. It was also the furthest away from Cedar Point proper. But every single resort property, where regardless of where you stay, does send you a free parking voucher. So we did not have to pay for parking, which was a nice perk. The package that we booked through the Cedar Point website for Cedar Point Express, and this would have been the case for any hotel we stayed at, did significantly discount the tickets that we paid for the park. And it also, we didn't have to do this, but it was like $10 more, which was a steal for what we were doing. We got the Ride and Refresh 2-day tickets, which wound up coming in clutch for reasons we'll talk about in a little bit. So there's a lot of perks to staying at Cedar Fairs or Cedar Points.
And the Express Hotel was like maybe a 7-minute drive to the park. It was very close.
Yes, it was very, very close.
Closer than
Breakers is obviously the closest because you can literally walk there. But Cedar Point Express, it was no problem at all to get up early in the morning.
And you could also go into the hotel gift shop when it opened up, and they actually had the Fastlane program there where you could scan your QR code if you bought it, or you could buy it on site there and get your wristband. So you already have your Fastlane before you get into the park.
Which saves you a ton of time because the guest services line at the park is always full. Now, for various reasons, because guest services does everything, but guest services at the hotel pretty much only does one or two things.
We did learn that Fastlane does not operate until after 10 o'clock. Fairly quickly as well. Yeah, which
early entry we didn't talk about.
Entry doesn't give you Fastlane, which makes sense if you think about it. But
on early entry, which I'm just realizing we didn't mention, if you're staying in a Cedar Point hotel, you do get 1 hour early access to the park. Not everything is open during that 1 hour, including Fastlane, which Katie just mentioned, but certain attractions won't open until 10, 11, or even 12, and you walk around the park to see which attractions are open, which ones are closed. The app is fickle because it's the Six Flags app now. I feel like the Cedar Point.
Yeah, it was weird when we checked in. They're like, download the Cedar Point app, and when you type in Cedar Point, it's just Six Flags, and then you have to download
Six Flags, and then you have to go to the park nearest to you.
Yeah,
and then it's not the easiest app to navigate. Sorry, I got something in my eye.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It did the job. We were looking to see, what rides had long lines and whatnot.
Ones were open,
and that was the big asset when we walked in, is that it does say on the website which rides are open for early entry, but if you're walking into the park and you haven't checked the website and you have no idea what you're doing.
Also, if you don't know where the rides are.
Yeah, the app does navigate for you as well. So it's not useless. Yeah. It's just a little bit.
It's just a little confusing. Like they should be saying at checking, you have to download the Six Flags app and add Cedar Point instead of saying the Cedar Point app.
Which is an extra step I don't feel is necessary, but that's what happens when an acquisition occurs.
Yep.
Yeah, I do remember the Wi-Fi at the door.
That does sound familiar.
We didn't have it that bad.
No,
we were able to access
boosted
it from our bed.
Better sense.
But we did get constantly kicked off.
You did have to re-sign in after a day.
Also, I recommend this just in general, but we were using a VPN to access the internet because the network that Cedar Express used or put out there, I got a notification was a little bit insecure. So just if you have access to a VPN, I would use it. But like Fastlane
got the plus for the price of regular. Oh, maybe we should have tried that.
Well, we'll also talk
it.
About what we did specifically, and it might not have mattered in that case, but we'll see. I don't know if remember too. I'm speaking specifically to you guys, Chad and Vanessa, and at 2 Tickets to Adventure, because I know that when you guys last went to Cedar Point, it was during the COVID times.
I don't know if they were doing
did not
promotional
have
thing.
Yeah, the promotional discount that I had available to me when we booked was the Ride and Refresh package, which I took advantage of. It was a good deal, but Fastlane was definitely not on sale for the holiday weekend. I don't think that would have changed if we had asked very, very nicely, but
yeah,
we didn't, so I guess we'll never know. All right. Anywho, let's dive into it.
The park.
So I had a tumultuous night of no sleep before going into the park on our first day. We had 2 days in the park. So the objective was to get through 18 posted coaster credits in those 2 days. And everything else we did after that was meant to be gravy. We did a little more than that. We also got some re-rides. So I'm not mad. I think we had the days that we wanted to have for the most part. But I did start on 0 hours of sleep. So bear that in mind for what's to come. The skyline is cool.
Yeah.
When you're driving
it is really cool.
It's on a peninsula. So like if you've never been to Cedar Point before, it's isolated on an island. It's the only park that I'm aware of that is this way. So you have to drive out on a long causeway to get to the park. And this is your view as you're crossing the causeway and making your way to the peninsula, which is really cool. It does kind of lock you in a little bit and inspire you and make you go, ooh, cool. It does not, however, help you identify where all the rides are.
Yeah.
Like I thought it would.
It's like we didn't even know if we could see Steel Vengeance from there. It can obviously, Top Thrill 2, very obvious.
Yes.
Millennium Force, very obvious. And I guess now that I know that is Gatekeeper, it's obvious that's Gatekeeper over to the right as well.
Is that Gatekeeper? I think that's Siren's Curse.
Is it Siren's Curse?
Yeah, because Siren's Curse is right in front of and off to one side of.
That may be right, yeah. I thought that wasn't tilty though. But that could be it.
Well, it doesn't stay tilty when you're coming up.
The thing is, I can't tell from the picture whether it was blue or red, but maybe it is Siren's Curse.
I want to respond to this comment from Chad and Vanessa too regarding Fastlane, because since Six Flags purchased Cedar Fair, yes, many things have changed operationally. That's why we're stuck with the Six Flags app instead of the Cedar Point app that we used to have individual for the park. But another thing that is happening in some Six Flags / Cedar Fair parks that is not happening in others is how they're migrating everything over to an app system for Fastlane. They used to have it where it was just a wristband, and in every park it was always the same. You buy a wristband, it's either Fastlane or Fastlane Plus. You walk through the queue line where it says fast lane for whatever attractions you qualify for. In King's Dominion, and I believe Carowinds, and a couple of other former Cedar Fair, now Six Flags parks, they are using the Six Flags system, where you actually have to scan QR codes, you do a virtual wait for anything you want to ride, and over the long haul, you wind up saving that time by walking around the park and doing other things, but you can't just walk into the queues anymore. Fortunately, and I was prepared to deal with that, because I had no desire to deal with that, but I was prepared to. Fortunately, it did not turn out to be the case for Cedar Point. They're still on the wristband system there. So it's literally, you get whatever band you pay for, and you can walk into whatever queue lines you want if you have the fast lane for that specific attraction. So that wound up working in our favor. There were characters and events going on in addition to just, the Peanuts characters meet everyone all the time, but we also had like stilt walkers and whatnot. There's not much of that in our video because we were so focused on getting the coasters knocked out.
Yeah. Also, I think there were some character experiences that may have been canceled due to the heat. Like, it was.
Snoopy, I know, could only be out for like 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Like, it was oppressive.
We did catch patriotic Snoopy peripherally, but we did not get any. Didn't
stand in line. It was like maybe like 25 people in line. It didn't look like it was a lot, but it didn't look like it was none, and we didn't want to wait. Kaylee!
Hello!
Long time no see! So yeah, did not get a chance to meet the Peanuts characters on this particular trip, but we've met them before at other parks, and there's only one Snoopy ever, and he travels around from park to park. So I feel like we've already met the Snoopy at Knott's Berry Farm. It's probably the same
Snoopy at Cedar Point, obviously.
Let me take the live icon off so you can see the stilt walkers. This was probably the most character interaction we did the whole time, and I don't think we have video of this either because it was so spontaneous. We walked up on them, and there was no one in line for them, and there was suddenly a big line, and we were through before that. But stilt walkers for the 250th 4th of July weekend. There was also a couple of photo ops around the property, which we did take advantage of. This is one to the left with the Cadillac cars. And then we did take advantage of ride signs as photo ops.
Yeah, some pretty cool ride signs. Steel Vengeance sign was cool to see, with the rock work and the chains and everything. There's a bit of pageantry at Cedar Point.
Yeah. Like anytime you walk up on a big league attraction, you see a big sign, which I think is very cool. And then this one, which we didn't even know was a light up sign.
This was the last photo we took walking out, I think.
I miss Knott's Berry Farm. We were just talking about Boysenberry.
Yep.
Now I'm just thinking about Knott's Berry Farm.
Boysenberry Punch. It's good stuff.
Anywho. So there's a lot to see and do in the park. There's also some food options in the park. I say some because a lot of it is the same food from place to place to place. But we tried to have a little something different every time we ate so that we weren't constantly having just like the super bready pizza or like corn dog on a stick. We were trying to mix it up a little bit from day to day. We also had a habit of eating a Pop-Tart in the room at like 6 o'clock in the morning when we woke up, then going and getting our fast lanes, then going to the park. So we were hungry by like 11 when the food places started to open, and then we probably wouldn't eat again until like 4 or 5 o'clock. So we were moving really quickly through everything, and food was not a high priority.
I think the first day thing we ate was Panda Express.
Yes, which I honestly didn't feel was worth putting in a slide. But we did go, there's a Panda Express with standard Panda Express prices and offerings. We ate there the first day. The second time we had a meal was not this specifically, but from the same place, the Happy Fryer. Happy Fryer was
got some flaming hot Cheeto fries.
It's comparable to Les Frites at Busch Gardens Williamsburg. Like they pretty much only do fries and a couple other. You got like corn dog nuggets.
Yeah,
that was the closest thing they had to an entree.
And they had big corn dogs and cheese on a stick and stuff like that.
And the food was decent. I liked the Cheeto fry. I genuinely I did like them, but they were way too expensive.
Yeah.
We also went to.
We did the barbecue place.
The barbecue place. So this is genuine. Like this is a shot from the barbecue. It's not ours, but it's from the barbecue place. They do cook fresh meats, I think it's brisket, pulled pork, and then rotisserie chicken are the 3 big entrees at the barbecue place. And they are freshly prepared.
Barbecue or something.
Backbeat
barbecue.
Backbeat
barbecue. Yeah. There's also an Italian place with like really puffy
Hugo's.
Pizza.
Having
a diner like with burgers and fries and stuff like that.
The diner, I think, is copy and paste from what we experienced at King's Dominion and other Six Flags parks. And then the Hugo's Italian, I think, was very similar, if not copy and paste, from Knott's Berry Farm, what we experienced there. So,
and there is a sit-down waterfront restaurant as well that's kind of near Breakers, or maybe it's not that near Breakers. I'm not sure. It was on the like boardwalk side.
It's closer to Breakers than it is.
It looked like it probably had some more elevated cuisine. We did not make the time for it, nor did we budget money for it. So we did not eat there. But if Chad and Vanessa, if you guys ever have, I'm curious to know what it's like. It seemed like it was at least.
We did go there too, but we did not get the bowls.
Oh, yeah.
That was where we
got chips and queso.
Peak heat on 0 hours of sleep. That is where we crashed. Yeah. So we went inside for air conditioning, and we had chips and queso there for a little while.
That's true.
Which will be part of the vlog. Yeah. But you'll see by the time we get there, like we were dying.
There's variety. It's not just pizza. It's not just chicken tenders and fries. There's variety there, and I think they do try. But our expectations were low. No one has come back from Cedar Point and said, you've got to try the food, So
theme park food
is how it is.
There's a low bar for theme park food in general.
Yeah.
Disney and Universal obviously held to a different standard, and rightfully so. Theme park food overseas is our new bar, and so we just assume that not to be crass, but like everything at American theme parks is crap. Food wise, like we just go in expecting it to be bad, and if it's okay, then that's a good day,
Yeah, but I will say, for how expensive it was, we were able to share some things and keep our portion size down and keep our budget down. So that's nice too. Like the fries, we definitely shared. The chips and queso we shared. We even got one plate of panda and shared that. So you can budget both your calories and your money if you want to. And the last thing I wanted to do was eat a whole plate of Panda Express and then get on Millennium Force, which
is what we did.
No, we shared a plate.
Yeah.
I meant like a whole one by myself.
We did consume a plate though. That happened.
But I honestly think I needed it.
First impressions before we move on to rides, which is what everyone wants to know about.
I mean, my first impressions was it was prettier there than I anticipated. And we've watched vlogs before. I remember watching 2 Tickets to Adventures vlogs but the thing is, like, the camera can only capture so much.
Yes.
And because filming isn't really allowed on the rides at all, you really can't see what that scenery looks like unless you're up there 300 feet up about to go down on the Millennium Force.
I mean, being surrounded by a Great Lake is probably the coolest setting for an amusement park.
Yeah.
And let's be very clear that Cedar Point, for all its glimmer and all its awe, it is an amusement park.
Yeah.
And we can't look at it as a theme park. It does have some areas that are well themed.
Yeah.
But only some areas.
And definitely some effort. Put in.
Compare it to Knott's Berry Farm. Like Knott's Berry Farm, I think, is very much a true theme park. Cedar Point is a very old, very historic, very cool amusement park with some pockets of theming here and there. And I think if you look at it that way, it's a pretty great park.
It's also, I guess we didn't realize it's square footage wise, it may not be huge, but because it is on a peninsula and that peninsula is not huge itself, it goes on long. So we walked in and went right to like the Siren's Curse area. And I eventually went back and looked at a map and I was like, we're not even 40% in. Like, we haven't even seen
we started
like the top of Steel Vengeance yet.
We started with Top Thrill because Top Thrill and Siren's Curse were our top priorities for the weekend because those are the two that
were available during early entry.
Correct. But we didn't know that as being different from the standard park day.
Yeah.
We approached Top Thrill 2 and Siren's Curse first, thinking these are the ones that we know from repeated reviews are most likely to go down. If there's a weather incident, if something gets stuck on the track, if there's technical difficulties or something like that, those are the ones that are the most fickle, and those are the ones that are most likely to go down and the most elusive of the credits in the lineup. So we wanted to knock those out early, and it just so happened that they're both very popular, so they're both open during early entry, which worked in our favor. We did not realize that not everything was open before 10. So that's on me. I didn't do my homework. I am not calling it Steve. I will go to the end of the earth and back to prevent from calling it Steve.
He called it Steve.
Ironically.
No, I think Steve, you said Steve, and then you were like, I called it
here
Steve.
Here comes Steve. When I say it like that, it's ironic.
He said it. I don't think we caught it on camera, though.
I refuse. I'm not calling it Steve. I'm never calling it Steve. And I'm not calling Velocicoaster Valley. Everything is called what it is for a reason.
I shorten the names all the time.
Not that way.
Maybe not that way.
Not like this.
Not like this.
Not like this.
Steve does take a lot of the gravitas out of Steel Vengeance. Though.
Exactly.
Because Steve is what
you make
we
it
always
sound like my good buddy, Steve. Neighbor Steve. No, this is a bucking bull.
Steve. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, let's get into rides because that's honestly what everyone wants to know about anyway. So
are we doing our rankings, or are we just talking general?
We're going to do rankings in just a second.
Okay.
First of all, we have to talk about the other stuff that we did. So flats and transporter attractions, not all of which are featured here in these slides. Cedar Point has a few unique attractions. There is actually, and I'm sure that Chad and Vanessa know this much more so than we would have at the time we first approached the peninsula. There is a carousel museum in Sandusky because Cedar Point is one of the oldest parks in the United States. So for a long time, carousels, aka flat rides, were like the go-to attraction to have in amusement parks. Cedar Point still has a couple of the original carousels that have been beautifully refurbished, and one of the coolest things that they have is this Cedar Downs attraction, which is kind of like a steeplechase carousel. It feels very dangerous. It's got some centrifugal pull, and I did not expect that. There's no seatbelt
or anything. And it's fun.
It's very fun. It took me by surprise. This is honestly one of my surprises of the day.
Yeah.
And I will say too, we put this in the live stream slideshow because we did not capture it on video. This was one of the last things we did before we left, and we had already wrapped up with the outro and everything by this time. So we did do this. It was fun. You wouldn't be able to take cameras or anything on the rides anyway, so you'd never know that we did it, even if we did it in front of you. But it's fun.
Yeah.
It's a cool ride that I think everyone should do if you go to Cedar Point.
Yeah.
There's also the
really
railroad,
great train,
which they've poured a lot of heart and soul into making the railroad fun. It's a genuine steam engine, which did output some soot. So the closer you sit to the engine, the more you'll get speckled by soot coming from the chimney, similar to the Dollywood steam engine, but much smaller. And they do have around the corner from the dispatch of the train station in the not Maverick, Millennium Force area. They do also have a lineup of older, smaller steam engines that you can look at, which are very cool to look at.
Mm-hmm. This
is one of three remaining downs. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's definitely something you got to do. So is the train, honestly.
Yeah, don't skip the train.
We almost forgot about the train. It was second day once we finally cleared the last coaster, and we were like, now we can just chill.
It was on our to-do list, and then
the
we
thing of it is,
forgot.
we finished our coaster credits at the front of the park, and we were like, oh, we got to traipse all the way back to the train. Is it worth it? It was. Yeah. It was worth it. It's worth doing.
Yeah.
It was hot, though, so it was a long walk.
It was only hot. It's hot when you're like sitting there at the station waiting to go, but then once you're moving, the breeze is nice and everything. It's a nice like transport ride to get off your feet for a little bit, kind of like Busch Gardens Williamsburg. It also has some nice views, some good pass-bys of roller coasters, and it has some theming elements. What is it, Bone Town or something?
Not as dirty as it sounds.
Yeah. Wasn't dirty at all until you said that.
But it's not.
That was cute. And not only is it like they're animatronic skeletons too. Like there's like story and there's theming there, and I thought that was really cute. So don't skip the train.
The train is worth doing. The Cadillac cars you were able to do. It was small. I saw once you did it that it was a very small.
I would say like 3 seconds if you really like antique cars and the line is shorter, you have fast lane, do it. If the line is long, don't bother. It's a very short course.
But
the staff were very nice and it was cute. I chauffeured around a nice couple who was happy to let me drive so that Tim could film me later.
Who may or may not wind up in our video.
And the sky ride we did that.
The sky ride as well. Which is very short, but offers you a unique perspective on the park, especially that beachfront area where the Ferris wheel and the wild mouse are. You get a really good view of that. The landscaping in the park was really pretty.
Yeah.
So that was fun to see, not just from the transport rides, but also from like the top of the roller coasters, which most roller coasters get a decent amount of height off the ground. So you get a pretty good view from almost every lift hill.
Even from like the wild mouse, it was like, oh, this is pretty. And then screaming.
And then everything went wrong. No, we did not get on the Ferris wheel. We did not get
to the Ferris wheel. It was
probably like the next thing we would have done if we had a little more time. But
we did not stay till close either night. And if we had, we probably would have made it onto the Ferris wheel at some point, but we did not make it.
The thing of going on the July 4th weekend is that on the 3rd and the 4th, allegedly, I think the 3rd's fireworks were ultimately canceled because the rain that came through was horrific.
Yeah.
But we needed it for sure. So the 3rd and the 4th both had scheduled fireworks in the very late hours of the evening. And season pass holders who live near Cedar Point or traveled to Cedar Point specifically for the fireworks were pouring in as like the sun went down. Because basically what they were doing was waiting out the heat of the day, and then as soon as it cooled off, they were coming in to look at the fun fireworks shows, which made a lot of sense for them. For us, it was going to be shoulder to shoulder. It was what we were trying to avoid.
But we were also
it was specifically what we were trying
10
to avoid.
hours on our feet in the heat, like we were done.
Yeah. So we made use of the day hours and not the night hours. If we had stayed till close both days or either
I would have liked to have done the Ferris wheel.
The Ferris wheel was probably the next thing we would have done. But
and I'm sure it's also just got great views of the park and the lake.
Yeah. What we did do and what we did a lot of
was coasters.
So as previously mentioned, 18 total credits, some controversy surrounding what constitutes the 18th credit. If you look solely at roller coaster manufacturer, like manufacturers of roller coaster manufacturing rides in the park, there are only 18. If you count Pipe Scream, which is a glorified flat ride that happens to have rails, it would be 19. But we didn't, and we didn't count that, and we didn't want to do it because it was just a spinny, stupid ride. So we didn't do that. And we're only counting the 18 that we were able to achieve. Within that 18, there was also a credit we didn't qualify for.
Yeah.
So there is one credit we're counting twice for reasons that I think will validate the list.
Wilderness
Run.
Wilderness Run is a
kiddie
coaster and in order to ride, you must be accompanied by a child.
I
was trying to see because we have been allowed. It seems like the rules are inconsistent. We have a video from King's Dominion from a few months ago where we were finally allowed to ride the Great Pumpkin Coaster after years of being turned away, and we will follow the rules, guys. We're not like I walked up and I was going to ask, and literally the person gets on the loudspeaker for the ride and it's like, welcome to this ride, blah, 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 blah. You must be accompanied by a child less than so-and-so inches. And I was like, well, I guess that answers that question.
Yep.
And to be like, I get it if that's the rules and they're following the rules. However, at that point, it was not a busy day and the ride was practically going around empty. So I feel like we could have gotten on. But again, rules are rules. So.
It comes down to the ride operator sometimes, but also, you know, to the, exactly. We did the Woodstock Express.
Yes.
No problem.
The Woodstock Express which is a slightly bigger, I would describe it slightly more as a family coaster, we were allowed to go on. We just had to sit in separate seats, which is totally fine.
There's a 300-pound weight limit per car.
Yeah,
so
we exceed that.
John, you just made it. You just joined in the right time for the thrilling element of this discussion.
So of named attractions, we rode 17 coasters.
But one of them counts twice.
One of them is a racing coaster
and we
with
did
separate
both
rails,
sides.
and we did do both sides.
This is the one time where I will count two tracks.
We walked
as
away
two
like we still rode
because I really wanted to hit all 18.
We had 18 credits. We just didn't ride 18 different attractions.
So with that having been said and explained thusly, we are going to give you our definitive coaster ranking. There's a little bit of variance between me and Katie.
Actually, this works out well because I think mine are on the right and yours are on the left,
Correct.
Right? So, yeah. So,
but also, there's only 17 in this list because the one that we counted twice that actually do by coaster enthusiast law does count twice. We only count it as one because it's
I can't remember if Chad and Vanessa are in the racing coasters count twice.
Oh, they're very much in the racing coasters count twice.
Oh, okay.
Last I heard, anyway. You guys can feel free to correct me.
All right. So here's our rankings.
I have a tendency to piss off coaster enthusiasts.
You have a tendency to piss off. You're walking.
Do you want me to leave?
No. Yeah. All right. So
Okay.
you're on we're together on this. Great.
All right. So 42 minutes in, we're getting to the roller coasters.
Woo!
Let's do this. This is not our definitive coaster ranking for our broad top 10, of which we've been over 200
And I
coasters.
will say, some of these rides we were able to do more than once. Some of them we did only once. So the ride that we had was the experience that we had. So if I had gotten to do everything twice, okay, I'm gonna be real. I will never get on Magnum XL again. I don't care. I will never ride that ride again.
Same for me and Corkscrew.
So that.
Well, spoiler alert. I mean,
So I would never choose to do that one again. I will never subject myself to Magnum XL 200 again. That was one of my least favorite coaster experiences I've ever had. I was praying for it to be over. It was awful.
It was bad. It wasn't the worst.
Corkscrew I also hated, but it was short, and therefore it is not number 17.
So my number 17 is on the left, which is Corkscrew. It's a very obvious. I mean, the name is the ride. Like you go up, you go down, you go through a loop, you go through a corkscrew, and that's the end of the ride. Blessedly short, and that's probably why it's higher for you than it is for me.
That's the only reason why.
Magnum was longer, but I didn't have as bad a ride on Magnum as you did. And I think it was bad. It wasn't good, but I was trying to I expected it to be bad. Getting on it, I was like, this is going to be rickety.
I just kept slamming.
I think you expected Steel Force, and that's why you were so disappointed.
Yeah, it didn't. I just kept slamming my legs into the bar, and it was so uncomfortable. It was not fun. I couldn't even enjoy the views because I was just praying.
Well, you did on the lift hill.
I did do the views on the lift hill, but I was just praying that it would be over. Ugh.
The
nightmare.
Both of these attractions are either the very first or one of the first of their kind. So they're getting up there in terms of the technology advancing and the ride falling into disrepair. They both operate safely and they run fine, but certainly not smoothly.
Right.
Magnum is the very first hypercoaster ever in the history of roller coastering, and it
should die.
It's showing its age. Corkscrew, honestly, what came down to it being a different ride experience for me was because I'm taller than Katie is, and I am literally slamming my head down between my shoulders every time there's a lurch because it's so
well
gentle.
I don't like I don't like the old Aero coasters and trains because they always have that over the shoulder restraint, and
that didn't help.
And I'm just doing this the whole time, bashing my head into it. Don't care for it.
We had a couple of riders in front of us who I think were season pass holders. They were very familiar with the ride. They were choosing to ride it anyway for reasons that are unknown to me.
They're also young and spry.
They were a little bit younger, and we were going through the corkscrew element, and I'm just like swearing at the wazoo, and I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. And he's like, no, it's understandable.
I'm offended looking at these pictures. We need to move on.
Well, bad news because the next ones are the same. Right. In reverse.
Yes, Tim tolerated Magnum just slightly better than I did.
I think what made Magnum not as bad for me was just me being a little bit
didn't we share a restraint? Like we had a seatbelt, and then did we share a bar or did we have separate bars?
Can't remember.
Because maybe yours was squished down. Because my problem was I was slamming up into my bar every air time.
Oh, well, that can happen on any roller coaster. That doesn't have to be an old hyper coaster to do that to you.
No, it was different.
The track is rough. The track is old and it needs to be retracted.
This wasn't the thigh crush element. This was it jerked up and I'm sorry if I'm gonna say ow on a roller coaster, it's not fun. It's just I shouldn't be saying ow on a roller coaster. Next,
you walked out of the park with a coaster credit unclaimed.
Honestly, not worth it.
It's bad. It's really bad. But if your body can tolerate it, and mine could, just not well, I wanted to get all the credits. I mean, look at that triangular drop off corkscrew. It's horrific. That's roller coasters should not look like that.
They don't anymore.
Okay, we have a mutual number 15, which is Rougarou. Our B&M floorless record is not great. We don't really like the floorless model. I don't know why, but even back when B&M was manufacturing really smooth rides, we didn't really like the floorless model. We just found them to be rougher than most people.
It was okay. I've been on worse floorless. Shout out to Kumba, Busch Gardens, Tampa.
Kumba is not great.
That one.
We've done some good floorlesses that we liked.
I
can't remember where they are.
Cedar Flags.
That's what we should be calling it.
Some Six Flags parks have had, I feel like, some decent floorlesses, but not my fave.
They're honestly, yeah, I think Cedar Point rather might be a little bit too extreme for Kaylee. I was trying to think of if there was one coaster credit anywhere that I was like, maybe that one you could do. Probably not.
The
Wilderness Run.
Wilderness Run.
No, Wilderness Run's the kiddie coaster.
Woodstock
Express.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth the admission for. I mean, there's plenty of flat rides.
Do not. Well, this is a broad statement, and it might not be everyone's cup of tea. But I think I would not recommend Cedar Point to someone who does not like roller coasters.
Yeah.
I think that the park has plenty to do that is not roller coastery, but I also think that is the roller coasters is what it prides itself on. So the reason people go is for those.
Roller coasters.
And while they're there, they do the history and they do the train ride. And
Knott's, we took one with Kaylee. It has a log flume that's excellent. Yes. It has the mine ride. The
Cedar
dark
Point
ride.
had a rapids ride that we didn't do or even really see. But
Knott's,
they have a couple
I think
of things
Knott's has a little more to offer. I'll say a lot more to offer someone who's not a coaster freak.
It's funny.
Cedar Point is the thrill seeker's paradise.
When we walked up for security screening on our first day, there was a very proud security guard doing a long speech with no megaphone, which we could only hear half of. But one of the things he went to extra lengths to point out was that Cedar Point was a family park, and he wanted to keep it a family park, which means you can't be profane, you can't wear things on your clothes, et cetera, et cetera. But in reality, it's very much an adult park. It's a thrill seekers park,
or a brave child
with a few areas set aside for kids to do things while
there
the parents
were children who were tall enough to ride the big rides, and they were doing it. I saw some pretty young kids getting on Steel Vengeance.
If you are a young thrill seeker, then by all means, more power to you. But I think my point is just there's not as much to do if you're not a coaster enthusiast, which makes it less of a family park than not.
I mean, there's a lot of kids.
Is this your ranking or your? Yeah, because this is Rougarou at 15.
Yeah,
so this
well, they said there were only 14 credits when they went.
So out of your 14, okay, so we're following a line with them. Okay, I understand what's happening now.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rougarou was fine. We knew it wouldn't be great, and it wasn't.
It started out okay, and then it got a little spaghetti bully, and I was like, yeah, I'm done.
It did.
The Rougarou is kind of infamous because it used to be a standing coaster and then was converted to floorless. And I I really couldn't tell if people liked that it was converted to floorless or if they missed the standing coaster. But considering that I've only
different things from different people.
Ever liked one standing coaster, and that was the surfing coaster at SeaWorld, I don't think I would have liked it anymore being
I really want to do
coaster.
The pipeline coaster again.
That was fun. That ride was fun.
Anyway, 14. This is Cedar Creek Mine Ride.
Cedar Creek Mutual Mine Ride. Kind of a mine train. Cool setting. Kind of rough.
Not smooth, but didn't really expect it to be.
Yeah.
When you look at the track, you're like, ooh.
Yeah. It's a little janky.
Not as rough as the others on this list that we've mentioned.
No. Would ride again.
Yeah.
Would ride again.
And it does have a moderate amount of theming and a little animatronic Easter egg at the very end as well, which I think, and I might be corrected because I don't know this park as well, I feel very strongly it was a direct nod to the Haunted Mansion at Disney World. Or Disneyland.
I think it's just a guy and a dog.
It could be a guy and a dog.
I think it's just a guy and a dog.
But if you've ridden this ride and you're watching this live stream, you let me know what you think. It seemed to me to be too direct a comparison. 12 out of 14. Okay.
Liked it a little less than we did.
We're split again.
Yeah. I have Blue Streak, which is the oldest ride in the park, or at least the oldest coaster.
Yes,
probably. It's the only true wooden ride. Every other wooden looking ride has steel as well, but this is a classic woody. For how old it is, and I think it is pretty well taken care of. It's just not my speed. I do prefer things to be a little smoother, but I appreciate that it exists. It's an ACE monument ride or whatever from the American Coaster Enthusiasts Association. But yeah, no, I would ride it again. It was better than I expected.
You expect a certain amount of rattle out of a wooden coaster, especially one as old as this one is. So like looking at it, compare it to Phoenix at Knoebels, which the cars have a lot of similarities, and actually the layout has a lot of similarities as well. But it is not that good as compared to Phoenix, but it holds up pretty well.
Yeah, it's cool that it's there.
Seeing the make of the car made me aware of what kind of ride experience I was about to have, and I think it held up pretty well, which is why it's ranked a little bit higher for me than it is for you. But
you also don't tolerate the spinning rides as much.
I did not like Wild Mouse. If it had been like a standard Wild Mouse where it's just like whipping around the corners, I'm thinking like Hershey Park's Wild Mouse or Goofy Sky School, I would have tolerated it much better. I don't like the spinning Wild Mice.
Yeah.
We have had spinning coaster credits like Drovelvin at Toverland. Laugh Track that we thought were really smooth and enjoyable. This one is just way too whippy. The centrifugal force was just kind of killing me.
Yeah.
In addition to the fact that when we stopped, like when we came to the station,
for some reason there was
a slight delay, and I think we were still sitting on a spin sensor. So instead of locking in and heading into the station, we were at a point in the track perpetually for like 5 minutes where it was just spinning and spinning and spinning.
It maybe felt like 5 minutes, but it was not.
It felt like 5 minutes.
It was probably 45 seconds.
Hey, 6 bumped up. That's probably comparable to where it is on your list. I had Blue Streak as my number 12. For all the reasons I mentioned, I just thought it was fun and cool. And honestly, I think I went in with the right expectations for the kind of ride that it was. It still pulls. It gives you a lot of airtime coming over the hills, and there's a lot of hills. The only reason that I marked this one down, honestly, is because it goes right by the trash area towards the front of the park. And when you're going out and banking back, there's a good whiff.
Yeah, that was kind of gross.
Of the garbage area, which I did not particularly care for.
And that on the right is the Woodstock Express, which was the family/kiddie coaster we were able to ride. It's cute.
We did sit in the back.
We did sit in the back, so we got a fun little.
I got Tooth Expressed.
Little tug. It's cute. It's fine. I like the setting. It's right on this little like pond that used to have a boat ride. I didn't really have a problem with it. I kind of had a hard time ranking it because it is so simple.
There's not a lot to talk about with this one. It's literally, if you've been on like roller coaster or what used to be Woody Woodpecker's roller coaster at Universal. Like it's the same layout. Yeah. It's not very complex. It doesn't do anything crazy.
I have a tendency to rank coasters that are smoother slightly higher, so that's why it's above Blue Streak.
It is longer than Grover's Sky School or whatever. Not
Grover's Sky School.
Grover's.
That's an amalgamation.
The Grover Express or whatever it is at Busch
Grover's
Gardens.
Alpine Express.
Yes, that one. That's the thing. It's a nice long ride for what it is. I had it slightly higher just because I do like smooth experiences, and also because I was sitting one row further back than you, I got a good pull over the lift hill.
And I put Wild Mouse here because I thought it was fun. I liked looking out at the boardwalk area. The theming is cute. And I don't love spinny rides, but I think I might tolerate them a little bit better than you do.
There's a lot of these where we're either like trading places as we go up one tier or like staggering a little bit. Like we like a lot of these rides we had very similar thoughts on, but we just like there's certain things a little bit.
I'm just gonna interject here. On the way home, Tim's like, we have to come up with our coaster ranking, and immediately we were different. And I was looking at I'm like, we're gonna have to do this separately because we are not the same.
We are one of those couples that like can't agree on everything 100%.
No, like we cannot. And he's like, well, my worst one is Corkscrew. And I was like, well, my worst one's Magnum, so we're gonna have to do this separately.
Having said that, we do agree on number 10.
Yes. Raptor.
10 is Raptor, which is by far the loudest ride in the park.
So loud. I don't know if it's just like the fact that there's no like walls to like block off the sound. Like it is one of the loudest B&M inverts.
We're used to B&M inverts having a bit of a roar,
which they're known for, and they're fun.
Yeah. But this one in particular, for whatever reason, was just
we have some beef to pick with Raptor because we'd always be trying to film something and then it would go off.
It did not matter where we were in the park.
And we're like, we're gonna have to wait for Raptor.
But when we were near Raptor, I think it's in the vlog at some point. I was like, it's only gonna be another minute, and then we gotta finish this up.
Yeah, we gotta wrap this up, or Raptor's gonna go off again.
I think I agree with you. Like, excellent first half.
Yeah.
The second half is a little bit rougher than I think
the second half's a little bit tight. It kind of reminded me of like the first half of Great Bear and then the second half Montu. So
that's actually very good.
A bit of a less of a spaghetti bowl, like whippies on. Like I like my favorite B&M inverts I've ever done are Black Mamba at Phantasialand, Great Bear, and Alpengeist.
Yep.
So this one did not, and I feel like the one at Carowinds I may have liked a little better too. What's that one that used to be called Top Gun?
Oh, Afterburn. Yeah, I really like that one.
I think this one is above every Batman the Ride ever made, but also not as good as some of the other ones. So it's pretty, it's iconic, it's got a great roar. I did not like the second half as much as I liked the first.
And just for the sake of saying it, we did sit in the front row.
We did ride the front row.
So it was, we tried to get the smoothest experience we could have, but also like obviously on this kind of coaster, you can't see much if you're sitting in the back row. So we were specifically going for visual more so than for thrill. So it was, as you said, smooth for the first half, a little bit janky on the second half, not awful, which is why it's number 10. Like if it had been smooth all the way through, I think it would be a lot higher. Okay. I very controversially have Gatekeeper as my number 9.
Yeah, he did not feel the same way about Gatekeeper as I did.
A lot of people prior to us stepping foot in the park, because we did have some conversations with people on the way into the park who also said this. But a lot of people before we arrived at the park told us that Gatekeeper was one of the smoothest, best rides they'd ever been on. For me, it was not. I'm a different weight than you. I'm a different height than you. And I was sitting on the wing seat, whereas you were sitting towards the track, which might have impacted our ride experiences as well.
Seat. Yeah.
But for me, there was a bit of a rattle. And I am sensitive to that just because I'm getting old. and I'm more attuned to the rattle than I used to be. So it wasn't a perfect experience for me. There were things about it that I really liked and thought were really cool. And they're the same things that most people talk about, where you sweep through the big slabs next to the gate. I think that's and honestly, like it's more of an aesthetic piece than it is a.
It's definitely an iconic, like eye-catching, opener for the park or whatever. It's very cool. I have Iron Dragon here, which seems, I don't know. If I thought I may have put this one up a little bit higher than I should have, but this is how I felt.
Put it higher than you did.
I know you did. We've never done one of this before. This is I don't know what it's called. I always just call them the arrow buckets because I don't know what else to call them.
They swing.
We had never done one of these before. We thought it was going to be terrible. It was fine. It's not very fast, but it was pretty. It had a cool spot on the water. It was fun to watch go by. Not as uncomfortable as I thought it would be. And since we've never done one of these before, I was kind of tickled by it. They and not a lot of them exist. I don't even know how many of them still exist because the only other ones that I know of. Does Magic Mountain still have theirs? Or is that one gone?
This is not a question for me. I might been to Magic Mountain.
Chad, does Magic Mountain still have theirs?
Chad, phone a friend.
And because that's obviously Big Bad Wolf is now Big Bad Wolf Returns, and it is not this anymore because that became for Bolton. And then the other one is it Thorpe Park that used to have Vampire?
No, Chessington.
Chessington used to have Vampire. Now that's different.
No, Chessington still has vampires.
No, but
it's
not this anymore.
Yeah.
So I liked it. It was fun. Not as awful as I thought it would be. Not awful at all, to be honest.
I didn't think so. Which is why I put it at number 8. I like the mechanism. I also the idea of just like swinging buckets back and forth as you whip around the turns. I think the nature of the ride makes it a little bit smoother in its old age than some of the other attractions because you're not right on the rails. You're using gravity to actually give you the thrill element as you come around. It's more like a Wild Mouse than it is like a traditional coaster. So I really liked it. There was maybe one, possibly 2 moments that felt a little rough coming around.
I think the brake run was a little rough, but
honestly, the brake run is where we did the most swinging when we stopped. So I thought that was fun too.
Yeah. Now this is where I'm probably going to break some hearts because I have Maverick at number 8. Ninja at Magic Mountain.
Yes.
Okay.
You did not care for Maverick at first, and then you warmed up to it.
So I will say, I want to preface this. We rode Maverick in the heat of the day on Friday, which was awful. Saturday was a much better day temperature-wise. I felt more like a human being on Saturday, and we did not get a chance to re-ride Maverick. So I did it once. I have never feared for my life on a coaster except for on this ride. I wasn't uncomfortable per se. I just felt like I was gonna fly off the entire time, and maybe that's its purpose. I do think it's fascinating. I think it has some really cool theming, like there's some rock work and things like that. There's the tunnel's cool, or the inside covered bridge or whatever that is. I think if it had Siren's Curse trains and seats, I would like it better.
Yeah.
This is not.
It's a little older.
This is not my preferred kind of seat. I like to tuck in. I can't tuck in. My elbows have to be out. I'm bapping them against the back of the seat. I don't prefer this version of the comfort collar.
I strongly disagree with this thing.
Where did we ride in Maverick? Was it mid-train?
It was towards the back.
It was like mid.
We wound up getting towards the back. So the only rides we were able to request a row on, period, were Raptor and Steel Vengeance. Yeah. Everything else, actually technically Millennium Force, because nobody was there telling us where to go.
That's true.
But
I think we got Raptor too. We got to kind of wait for the front for Raptor. We just kind of walked up on it.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
We waited for the front.
I trust you. But most of the rides,
a lot of the really
they make you
popular rides,
specific row.
They were assigning seats. So anyway,
including Maverick, which is why I mentioned it.
I will ride Maverick again if we ever go back to Cedar Point. But getting off of it, I was like, I don't know if I really liked it or just totally hated it. So I really couldn't decide.
She did say almost exactly that. She looked at me. Hold on. After the
first of all, my hair was like,
your hair's over on one side,
and I'm like,
you looked at me like this.
Yeah, I was just like, am I alive? Am I still here on this plane of existence?
Initially, I thought that was a positive reaction, but come to find out, she was a little rattled. So,
yeah.
Anyway,
it was an experience.
Number 7.
So
for me, you might not be able to tell, but for me, number 7 is Valraven. I love dive coasters. However, not all of them function as well as others. And Valraven, while it was great, I don't really have any complaints about Valraven as a ride. I'm just comparing it to every other dive coaster I've ever done, which is why it ranks a little bit lower overall. One, because it doesn't not currently, I know it used to, and it might again one day, but does not currently do the hold over the first dive. It's like 2 seconds instead of the long prolonged hold that we have on Griffin at Busch Gardens Williamsburg every single ride. And I really like that because it gives you a second to contemplate your life. It also allows you to get a little bit more of the view. We also did this one in the 3rd row instead of the 1st row because of the assigned seating. So we didn't get a chance to experience dive coasters the way we normally would. But as dive coasters go, I have to stack it with the ones that I've been on and the experiences I've had. And so I have to give it, of those 5 different dive coasters, I think this one was
said number 3.
3, yeah. So it's mid. For dive coaster, it's mid. For overall park coaster, also mid, but only because there's so many other great coasters in the park.
And I thought I liked Gatekeeper more than Tim, so that's where Gatekeeper is for me. I guess maybe my ride was smoother. Maybe I just like wing coasters better. I don't know.
No, I like wing coasters fine. I love Phoenix at Toverland, and I love Wild Eagle. And
those
Gatekeeper was way below both of those.
It was above Repterra.
Repterra's at the bottom. I'm sorry to say, anyone who really likes that one, but that is just so rough for being brand new.
Phoenix is the best though. Phoenix is king.
Okay, this is where we're counting 2 credits as 1 credit for the sake of ranking, because the ride experiences are similar, but they're not identical. You have Valraven at number 6 instead of.
Yes, I think I like that ride obviously a little better than you did, but not enough to be in my top 5.
And Gemini, which is a racing coaster, is kind of a hybrid, but not in the RMC sense. It's wooden supports and steel rails, but it wasn't like the Titan Track steel rails. It wasn't brand new, made by RMC. It was very old and made by, I don't even know. Someone would know. Chad would probably know. It's showing its age a little bit, but for what it is, it's really fun.
It's so fun.
And there's a lot more interaction than most of the racing coasters I've been on. It's a tight race almost every time because you get really far ahead, and then whatever happens, like one train weighs more than the other.
Had some like fun guest interactions on that ride too.
Well,
like we're not.
I cannot advocate for this because I'm sure it's not allowed and it's probably unsafe.
We high-fived the other train.
The other train had guys who were like, yeah, high five, as we're like passing each other. And yeah,
there you go.
We were definitely doing some.
Yes, we did that.
Yes.
I'm glad it's a thing because it was super fun.
It's more than once. There's more than one super close spot. We did do it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Gemini's an Arrow. Oh, good. All right. An Arrow coaster that I actually like.
Wow. The first Arrow we've ever loved. Genuinely. I hate Arrows.
I've got a lot of, I think they're just not getting the.
I forgot to show their rankings.
Oh.
Okay.
Is this, for 2 tickets, is this a mutual ranking of the 2 of you, or is this.
Seems to be.
Is this just Chad or just Vanessa, or are you guys actually in sync on everything? I'm curious because we are not, obviously.
I can see how riding it when it's only one side operating would not be as fun. Fortunately, both sides. I don't think there was much downtime at all this weekend.
We thought it was down, but it turns out it just opened late.
It opens at
like noon.
So we were waiting for a long time thinking it was down, and then we saw people lining up, and we were like, oh, they must have told us that.
Yeah.
Chad's rating.
Yeah. Okay.
Are we ready to turn the page, or do you have more to say?
No. I think because
there's more Gemini.
I think Gemini is next for me. Yeah, Gemini was my 5.
So finish talking about Gemini, and then I'll say.
No, I was just saying, like, I was expecting it to be really rough, and it wasn't, and it was just fun, and I enjoyed the racing element, and I can definitely see if there's only one side running, it's not as fun. But that's the case for a lot of racing coasters.
I love that you think we know to look for things.
The Peace Rocks? What is this?
I have no idea what the Peace Rocks are.
What is this? Tell us.
They're rocks that are very peaceful.
Is it a rock doing this?
You know, come to think of it, I've never seen like a super angry rock. Okay. So
is anger the opposite of peace?
I would assume so. Violence? A violent rock?
A war rock?
Oh, decor and Gemini. Okay. No, we did not.
Peace rocks. Like do you see it from the train or is it in the station? I'm curious.
Somebody made a peace sign down underneath the track with rocks. Oh. No, I definitely don't think that was there.
I don't know if that was still there.
I don't know if we wouldn't have known to look for it, but I don't think it's there.
That's cool, though. I'm glad you got to experience that.
So my number 5 is going to piss off a lot of people because...
Sorry, I was trying to be cute.
I thought you were having some kind of episode. So...
Sorry, I was trying to do like the TT, like chai tea, TT, and I was like TT.
So Top Thrill 2 is the replacement attraction for Top Thrill Dragster, which kept the theming intact, has a really dumb name, but is in fact a pretty awesome ride.
Do you like the name Top Thrill Dragster better than Top Thrill 2?
I didn't say that. I said the Top Thrill 2 has a really dumb name.
Oh.
I didn't say anything about Top Thrill Dragster. Top Thrill 2? They could have called it literally anything.
It's Top Thrill 2 Racing.
No, that's a subtitle.
It's still part of the name.
Top Thrill SBNL. So it was operating almost 100% of the time we were there. There were a couple times that it stalled out and they had to shut it down.
Something we'll go into later. I'll save that for later. We saw it stop a few times, like when the train comes out of the station and then it has to do the switch track to get on the ride. We saw it stuck there a few times, but we would almost always see it fixed within 5 minutes or less.
I think my expectations for roller coasters might just be a little too high because of some rare experiences I've had. Like, you can't expect most roller coasters, especially going that fast and that high, to be super smooth. But my body kind of does, even though my brain knows this is probably not going to be exactly what if this was as smooth as Siren's Curse, it would for sure be my number 1.
Probably, yeah.
But unfortunately, it does have a little bit of a rattle, and it's not that old. It's just tall, and it's subject to the elements.
Forceful.
It's very intense.
It's just so.
I would rather an experience be fun, fast, and smooth than intense and with a lot of airtime and hang time.
When we rode it for the first time, I got off and I felt like I did after doing like Mission Space.
Yeah, it is a very cool, very thrilling experience, and the views are impossible to beat.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
We did this one twice, Top Thrill Dragster, or Top Thrill 2 rather. We did that twice, both times early entry.
Different days.
Same seats both times.
Yep.
Don't know how that happened, towards the back, so we got pretty high on the spike.
High on the spike.
But yeah, it was pretty great, but not as great as I think. It's way better than King Ka. It's
like
so much better than
our last ride on King Ka, I was like, I think I'm done riding this ride.
Yeah, we literally broke a lot of hearts, but we were very much in the camp of like, it's time to tear this one down. It's not possible to maintain it the way that it needs to be maintained.
Either maintain it the way it needs to be maintained or get rid of it. I mean, I'm sorry for people who didn't get to do it, but I hope this ride is taken care of, it gets maintenance that it needs, and it's able to stay around for a long time.
4. I liked Maverick a little better than you did.
If I didn't get to ride Top Thrill a second time and enjoy that second ride a little more, it would have been ranked lower. But because I got it 2 rides, I was like, okay, I think I get this ride now, and I did like it. And it is magnificent. It goes so fast, it's so high. And yes, I think you did like Maverick better than me.
Maverick is incredibly intense. incredibly intense. I would argue it is the most intense ride in the park, because if you don't know the layout of the track, it will rip your head from your body going around the corners. It is so fast, and it has such force and such pull, and it's so compact. So, but what it also is moderately themed, and theming goes a long way with me specifically. The rock work and the train tunnel and the different elements that had not onboard sound, but it had sound elements that were part of like a show scene. And the queue and all that were pretty well themed as well. So it was fast, it was fun. I rank it up there with Storm Runner. I honestly rank Storm Runner the same way at Hershey Park against other coasters in the park.
Nothing like Storm Runner.
For me, it was. For me, it was comparable.
Nothing like Storm
I had
Runner.
a lot of fun. It wasn't perfect, but I had a lot of fun.
Number 3.
And now I think we're
the same.
We're the same.
We're
for the
the
rest of the way.
same for the top 3.
So we did agree on the top 3.
We only got one ride on Millennium Force
because operations were not great.
This was the only ride that didn't have good operations. Everywhere else it was fine.
And the reason was, as I'm sure many of you know, they recently made a terrible, terrible change to this attraction, which shortened the seatbelts and made it very difficult for people of average weight and girth to fit on the attraction. Don't know why they did that. I'm not sure they know why they did that. It was not a good move, because now the operator, there's usually like 2 operators per train running around trying to get seatbelts buckled. And there's a lot more people than is typical of any given coaster to try and
like
get people buckled in.
They're most average people, you know, and we're saying average. This is not, you know, size 2 people can safely fit on a ride. And this change has made it so that people who could fit almost on any other ride in the park may struggle to fit on Millennium Force. And I don't think that was a decision that was made to make it more safe. I don't know why they made this choice.
This is not an opinion that is solely ours, by the way. There's a lot of discourse right now about this specific ride.
We were concerned about Tim being able to fit. Spoiler alert, he did fit. He was fine.
It's not a secret that I've put on a little bit of weight since we started vlogging. Like back in the day in 2021, 2022 even, I would have had no concerns about fitting on the ride. But what I was hearing was that my exact waist size was being turned away on certain rows. And I was really concerned about it. So the one time we did get a choice of a row on this one, we did go for back because I heard that was a little bit more forgiving in terms of the girth on the seatbelt. But as it turns out, I think I would have been fine in any row. I have a 36-inch waist and I had no trouble buckling.
And I think it also depends on where your waist is on your body. Like if you have a higher waist or a lower waist, that may make a difference depending on how you sit and whatnot.
It's not so much about your weight. It's more about your actual like waist size.
Yeah, it's like where the thickest part of your belly is.
It's just between your gut and your thigh is where the buckle comes down. And that area of most people's bodies is larger than most other parts of their body. So it's a bad change. And the operators are really struggling to get trains out because of the change, because they have to keep telling people like, I'm so sorry. I know you're a standard size, but you can't ride.
They're trying to like get the seatbelt buckled and it's taking too long and all that. This is the one ride that I wish I had gotten to ride one more time.
Same.
But we just didn't even
really,
bother.
really good. And we did, back row was incredible on this ride. Like
it was so good.
I didn't think it was going to be great because it is the first. You didn't really
like Fury 325.
I really didn't like Fury 325. I did Fury 325 twice and I had panic attacks both times. But this one, for as tall as it was, it really seemed to be smoother.
And it's 26 years old. It's not old. A new ride, but it was wonderful. It was really fun.
I have nothing but good things to say.
I got off that ride like, well, I'm glad we did it. Yeah. Which is not, I wouldn't say operations are bad.
No, I would say operations are bad, but it's not the operators.
It's not operators being lazy or anything like that. It's the fact that the accommodations in the seat are not what they used to be.
You keep leaning all the way on screen.
I'm just thinking about riding Millennium Force. It was so fun. It was so cool.
All right, this is the one that I think is going to surprise no one who knows us, but
anyone
really,
who was following
really
you on Instagram,
break the hearts of everyone who doesn't know us that well. Steel Vengeance is
our number 2.
Not our favorite ride in the park.
Nope.
It was great.
We did get 2 rides on it.
We did get 2 rides. The first ride was front row. The second ride was back row. And the second ride, while fun, I was in pain for most of it because I did get I didn't leave myself enough room, and then the operator came around and stapled me a little bit, and I was like, oh dear. And having been through it once and really enjoying the front row ride, by the way, I knew what the rest, probably the back half of the course looked like for me, stapled in with about 1,000 bunny hops between me and the station. And I think at some point towards the end, I did actually say, no
Please
more.
Stop. Yeah, like no more. Yeah, your second ride wasn't that great.
My second ride
enjoyed
was
both
blah.
rides. I understand why it is so beloved. I think it is a really good ride. It's definitely, I think, earns its reputation. I will still probably prefer a ride that's a little less intense over at any given day.
I like rides that are tall and fast, and this one does have a lot of really cool elements, and it does go on for a while.
It is long.
I do like the length of the attraction.
It's nice, especially if you're going to wait. Like, we did not have to wait long at all, but if you're going to wait, 45 minutes, an hour long for a ride that you've been waiting to ride for years, and it is over in 45 seconds. That's lame. But this ride is a nice long track. I do like the height of the attraction. I love that first drop, and probably the second drop as well, because they're both about equally as tall. I think I still prefer Iron Gwazi to this. Which I think Iron Gwazi is just a hair shorter, but for some reason it gives a different vibe, and I just really, really like Iron Gwazi. I think the intensity of Steel Vengeance might make me like Iron Gwazi a little bit better too. Iron Gwazi is intense also. Yeah, but it didn't there were parts of Steel Vengeance that took my breath away, which can be a really good sign, but I have this tipping point where it's if I'm a little bit too. If it's a little too intense, I don't like it as much. So anyway. I don't know. You actually audibly gasped looking at Troy, that first drop on the wooden in Toverland. And that still ended up being awesome. That was awesome. We rode it twice. We rode it twice. We did Steel Vengeance, and then we did Maverick, and then we came back and did Steel Vengeance. Yes. Which we might not. I think in the vlog we said we did back-to-back rides on Steel Vengeance, but what we actually did was Steel Vengeance, Maverick, and then back. So revealing trade secrets. If you listen to the live stream, you get the little bonus tidbits. Number 1 was Siren's Curse. Yeah, for sure. This is probably it's butter smooth, and it has on-ride audio and cue theming and a story and a soundtrack. It is the full package. One of my favorite new rides. I make no apologies for loving it. No. Out of everything we experienced this weekend at Cedar Point, every single attraction we did, we both agree this is the one attraction that we will be missing in a few weeks. Yeah. Given enough time to sit with it, we're both going to be sad we're not on Siren's Curse. Yeah. So the music, yes, there's music, there's theming-ish. It's not overly theming, but there is on-ride soundtrack, which I thought it was just on the lift hill at first, but it's actually on the train, which is awesome. Yep. It actually, there's speakers behind your head as you're going up the lift hill where they start giving you pieces of the story. And then when you get to the tilt is where it comes really. This is honestly for me, I don't know what it is about the positioning or whatever else, might be the best drop in the park. It just feels. I really didn't know how I was going to feel about the tilt track, but I loved it. And I think you did too. Yep. This kind of replaced the need for the dive coaster hold for me. So It's a little different compared to the dive coaster, I would say, because you like dive, you're not quite that vertical. This is pretty intense because it goes down and then right into kind of an element turn of sorts. So kind of like I guess kind of like, what is it, Twisted Timbers, where it goes down and then like twists right away.
Yeah,
that's the one. But way more intense than that.
Yeah, Twisted Timbers slow rolls into that.
Yeah, this is like twist. You just drop.
This literally is,
and it's a nice hold. The tilting itself kind of gives you that reminiscent of a dive. I would say if you like a dive because of the hold, the tilt track, you will definitely like.
And the music
is so
continues all the way through. Like it changes drastically when you tilt and drop, but then it continues all the way through, and it's so fun.
The seat is also very comfortable.
It's Pantheon. You get Pantheon restraints and seats.
But you also get this kind of like comfort collar that is more of like kind of more like a wing coaster comfort collar, not quite like, not the nasty comfort collars. It's very cozy, and I thought it was comfortable. They were sending trains very quickly. There was only 2 train operations, but it was like one was tilting, the other was coming back, and we were loading up. And then by the time, the next, like it was pretty quick. So, and it did not have any like prolonged downtime. It may have been down for like a little bit, but it was not prolonged.
It went down every once in a while, but it was very rare.
Yeah. I wouldn't describe it as scary because I don't think dive coasters are scary, but I do think it's cool. And I loved it. I missed it. And it was so smooth. Like we've ridden a lot of like newer rides, maybe not a lot, but several over the last few years. And when you compare it to Rapterra, Iron Menace,
it's
I guess Wildcat's Revenge is one of the newer rides as well.
It's not as tall as a lot of the attractions that we've been talking about up until this point.
It felt like it had just opened, and I know it's only been open like a year, but the smoothness. I got off that ride and I was like, man, if that's what Velocicoaster still felt
it's 160 feet tall. It doesn't feel that tall.
Well, that's because
we did Top Thrill and then we did
You can
Millennium.
see Top Thrill and Millennium Force, and it looks short compared to that.
It is very short compared to those two.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to. I could talk for a while about how much I like Siren's Curse. It was so good.
So let's wrap her up the way we normally do these trip reports by talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly in reverse. So the ugly was
so
pretty much just the heat.
It was so hot.
It was not as bad in Sandusky, Ohio as it was where we came from in Baltimore.
Yes.
Believe it or not. It was like 105 here in Baltimore the whole weekend. And in
Weirdly,
Sandusky,
it said it was like 89, but the feels like temperature was like 95. It was so hot.
And we got pretty badly burned. So
and
after one day,
I will
it was bad.
say,
After 2
I'm
days,
going to
it was
loop
worse.
this in with the ugly because it was mostly a problem due to the fact that it was so hot. I don't know what's up, but there were several stores, restaurants that felt like they did not have air conditioning. And that was kind of disappointing because when you're trying to get some relief from the sun and from the heat and you step into an indoor area and it's like, it feels like a swamp in here. It's hot. It's muggy.
Some of that
I feel bad for the employees who had to work in there.
Well, I'm thinking like some of that is just people constantly walking in and out and not closing the door probably behind them. Like it circulates and like
that happens all the time in Disney, and their air conditioning works just fine. I think they just don't.
They have billions to crank into it.
I don't know. Cedar Point makes enough money. They can keep their employees better cool with air conditioning.
I don't disagree. I'm just telling you we can't hold them to the same standard.
Perhaps, but I think they should. If it like when you walk into a bathroom and it feels like a steam room, that's a bad sign.
The park was not responsible for most of the truly ugly elements of the weekend.
Yeah, it's not like they probably would have rather it not have been as hot, but I'm just saying like when you're trying to cool your core body temperature down by going inside and getting out of the sun and it's not helping, that's not good.
We had to hydrate pretty desperately over the course of the day, and it did slow us down. And I think if we had been better hydrated, cooler temperatured, etc., we would have enjoyed some of the attractions a little bit more, and maybe our ranking would be very different. Like Maverick for you would have been probably a much more enjoyable ride.
Because I definitely
if it was
liked
20 degrees cooler.
I liked Top Thrill 2 better the next day, but yeah.
But talking of the bad, which is slightly different category, more park specific.
Are we putting the mayflies in the bad?
I was going to put the mayflies in the bad.
Yeah.
So we have friends that were at Cedar Point not that long before we were, and they were complaining about the mayflies, how bad the mayflies were.
Swarms of flies.
And you were getting bit all the time.
And they said like you would ride a roller coaster and you should close your mouth because they're just going to fly into your mouth and it's disgusting. And I was like, great. That did not happen for us. Nope. We're not getting them that bad. But when you're standing still trying to film a video and they're biting your ankles, it's a little
really only happened once or twice. Like there were certain areas that were closer to the water that I think the mayflies were more occupying that space. Elsewhere in the park, walking around, like I really didn't have an issue with them. It wasn't as bad as I think it could have been.
The breeze from the lake is nice. I think it does keep some of the bugs away, but that wasn't great.
I would also say, just in general, the crowds, and we'll touch on that again in the good, because there's a good thing to talk about crowd-wise as well. But it was a holiday weekend. There were a lot of people. There was a lot of...
I don't really think the park was that busy. A lot of rides were less than 15-minute waits.
We should probably have a discussion before the live streams
about
what comes
I'm just
next
saying, like, I'm saying there were people there. I was expecting it to be so much worse. I was expecting
that was the good.
Okay. I don't know if I'd put that under the bad, but
I would put it under. There were people.
Yeah.
There weren't as many people as we were expecting, but it was not slow. We had lines for some attractions. We had fast lane for most of the things we wanted to do, which was very fortunate. Mm-hmm. And then the only other thing was food service. Oh, wait, two more things. Food service was one of the things, because playing right into what I was trying to say about people, like the places that people gathered were almost always the places that were air conditioned. So food service stops were very loud. People were trying to get food, and the employees were trying to move people through the lines as quickly as possible, which meant that there were a couple of breakdowns in communication about what we wanted, what we ordered, and what we were trying to save money on. So we didn't have the best experience ordering food. The food we ate was fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad. It was just mid-tier and not always what we actually ordered.
When I point at something and I say, oh, I like the rotisserie chicken, and they say, that's not the rotisserie chicken. And then I say, okay, well, where's your rotisserie chicken? And then they just look at me like I have 3 heads, and I'm like, okay, fine, give me the pulled pork then. It's like, okay, whatever. I guarantee it was probably very hot in that restaurant. And
I don't think it was entirely the staff's fault. I think that it was perhaps partially the staff's fault.
When I'm like, oh, this is an entree, what comes with it? Is there a side that comes with it? And you just keep telling me it's the same price. And I'm like, okay, but what else do I get for the same price?
That's the breakdown in communication.
Yeah.
The other bad thing I was going to mention is the merch situation.
Oh my gosh.
Not a huge issue for most people, but literally all we wanted were pins. Yep. And they had have them.
3 pins in the entirety of the park. One was a specific Wild Mouse pin, which was no one's favorite ride, and I didn't want that one. Then they had a Top Thrill Dragster pin.
It
was literally like
attraction we didn't
maybe
ride.
It was Top Thrill too, but whatever it was not. Also, like, I guess cool ride, but not. I like park pins. I want it to say Cedar Point because it reminds me that I went there. I want someone to look at my pins and go, "Oh, you've been to Busch Gardens, Cedar Point, Universal Hollywood." Blah, blah, blah. I've gotten a King's Dominion pin. I've gotten a Carowinds pin. I've gotten a Dorney Park pin. Where are the Cedar Point pins?
Cursory research leads me to believe they might be working on gradually phasing out or scaling back pin production for Six Flags parks, which is not reassuring. But the merchandise issue was not limited to what wasn't there. It was also what was there. There is, and many of you have heard about this already, just a lot of genuine, like there's a difference even at this level between AI generated creatives, which we already don't like, and then AI legitimate, like AI
garbage.
And they took legitimate, easy to identify AI slop and had a whole tower of merch dedicated to it.
The worst offender was Maverick.
Bad. The rides don't even look like the rides they're advertising. It was bad, and there was a lot of it, which means that even the people who frequent the park and might not care about whether or not it's AI generated or not are not having that particular. It doesn't look good. Like they look at it and they're like, this isn't the ride. I'm not buying this. So that was another thing, and I think that one is the park's fault. It's not the employee's fault, but it's whoever's making decisions to the top. That needs to be changed, and quickly. So that would be all the bad we have to talk about. And
I'm trying to find a pin on eBay just so I could buy one, and they're like $75.
I guess we had a little more bad to talk about.
I want my pin.
Do you have any more bad to talk about? Okay, we'll move on to the good.
Way more good than bad.
There's way more good than bad, and we're generally like we're positive people. Like we're gonna find more good than bad in most places we visit. But
for the most part, operations were fantastic.
I was really genuinely impressed with operations. I think I say in the video at some point, like I've never seen operations like this outside of Universal or Disney. Yeah. Which you can't expect amusement parks to keep up at that rate, but they did.
Like for the big coasters, dispatches were fast. We're talking timely.
60 to 90 seconds between dispatches, reliable.
And the ride operators, a lot of them were making jokes. It seemed like they were at least trying to enjoy their jobs, and that was nice to see. I hope they were having fun because they made us laugh several times.
Honestly, all the park employees that we interacted with outside of the food service people who I think were very stressed out and in a different kind of lane than everyone else. But like we talked to security people, we talked to ride operators, we talked to, I guess, character attendants. What do you call it? I guess hosts or escorts or whatever.
Character attendant is a good word for it.
All these
parking
people,
staff.
Parking staff were great. Yeah, we talked to a bunch of people over the course of the day. Everyone was so kind and so nice and so genuine and really trying to like make the most out of their day, which we thought was really cool. Yeah. But yeah, operations with the actual rides were fantastic, and I cannot brag on that.
Honestly, enough. We thought that rides were going to be down more often than they were, and there had to have been that ride downtime. I'm pretty sure Siren's Curse did go down for a little bit, but it wasn't like we were expecting. So ride downtime was minimal. I mean, we did talk to a family in line when we were waiting to get into the park on Friday, and they said like, "Oh, Millennium Force was down like the whole day yesterday." We never saw it go down for an extended period of time after that.
It's so subjective too. Like you don't know whether they meant like generally that it was down all day or whether they meant when they tried to ride it, it was down. Yeah. So,
but really, like even for like Top Thrill 2, we've heard people, make their way even from overseas to this park, and they've been like, I never got to ride Top Thrill 2 because it was down the whole time. Which I'm sure that can happen, and we were probably just lucky. But that was nice to be lucky. It was.
And then to your earlier point that I was kind of tucking in reserve, the crowds were
not as bad.
But they were nowhere near as bad as we
They were not as bad as we thought.
Fastlane, so what we did was to try and save money. We did Fastlane Plus on the Friday, thinking that fewer people were going to be there. And I think it was slightly busier on Saturday than it was on Friday. But Fastlane Plus was what we had on Friday because we figured it was going to be a little less busy and we could get through all the rides faster. And we needed the Plus to be able to do the big six, which were Siren's Curse, Top Thrill 2, Maverick, Steel Vengeance, Millennium Force was the last one. I always forget the last one.
What is the last one? It's not Gatekeeper. Gatekeeper's on regular.
Valraven,
yeah.
So we did all of those 6 on the first day, and then we did Top Thrill 2 and Siren's Curse again the following morning with early entry. After that, we were not going to be able to get on any of those rides again because those lines were the ones that backed up. But everything else we did, we really, with the fast lane, we did speed through most of the lines over 2 days. And we weren't rubbing shoulders with anyone at any point until maybe towards the end in the evening when people started to come in for the fireworks. Which is when we were leaving.
And that was people were coming in and like getting food and then, you know, getting ready to hang out for the fireworks and stuff. So
I think we probably could have done without Fastlane on the 4th, but I'm glad we had it because some people will go to a park and just do what they can do, and that's fine. And usually that's how we are too, but only if we've been to the park before. If we only make it there once and like the first time is the last time, we want to make sure we do everything.
Yeah.
So if we go back again, I don't think we'd buy Fastlane. But if for this particular weekend, we spent a lot of money on Fastlane because we thought it was going to be worse than it was. I'm glad we had it because we did do everything. And next time we just won't buy it.
Yep. And we'll also do the ones that are good.
In last thoughts in the good category is the scenery, the beach setting, and all of that was terrific.
It's prettier than it looks on camera. I don't know how else to say that. Like you can't really you can't capture like the lake breeze hitting you. No vlog, unless I guess if they're using the meta glasses or whatever, is going to capture the views. And honestly, even the meta glasses aren't going to capture it right because they don't capture the color and the scale right anyway. I did enjoy the park and I enjoyed being there more than I thought I would.
I agree. I think we both enjoyed it more than we thought we would. And part of the reason we did put it off for so long was because compared to places like Europa Park, Phantasialand, Toverland, Efteling, like all these bucket list theme parks that we wanted to get to that were much higher priority, it is a far cry from any of those. But as an amusement park that can't be scored the same way against all these big theme parks that really focus on immersion and set dressing, I think Cedar Point is probably among the top amusement parks that I've been to.
I think it deserves the reputation it has as America's roller coaster, and definitely has some great rides there, some not so great rides, but every park has some not so great rides, so that's fine. Maybe this is controversial, but I would love to see a dark ride there, or at least something.
I don't think it's controversial.
They don't even have like a Boo Blasters, and that's a lot like very common at a lot of formerly.
They used to have parks. That like boat ride that they don't have anymore, that they brought back for the anniversary and then they did away with again.
There were a lot of shows, or at least a couple of shows in theaters. We did not catch any of them because we didn't think we'd have the time for it. Although it probably would, if they were air conditioning, may have kept us out of the heat.
Well, I was going to say a lot of the outdoor shows were canceled due to the heat.
Yeah.
So that was a thing as well, is that like we didn't have as many entertainment offerings as a whole, despite it being the 250th, because the heat was so oppressive that they couldn't keep people out that long.
Yeah.
But what we did see, we enjoyed.
Yep.
And over the course of the 2 days, we did a lot. I don't know how long the vlog will actually wind up being because we didn't film every single thing we did, but it's meant to be a mega vlog over the 2 days. So we'll see how it turns out. It'll probably be a couple weeks before we actually get it out the door, but yeah, it was better than we anticipated, and we had a lot of fun.
Yep.
And I'm glad we went, and now we have 18 more coaster credits.
And Siren's Curse was awesome.
I do miss Siren's Curse.
It was so good.
Yeah, definitely not in the front of the park. Didn't see anything.
If this is me learning there was a theater in the front of the park.
We also had a couple misfires with opening ceremonies, like the number of times they said national anthem's about to play and then didn't play.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Like they say they always open the park at 9 or whenever it's opening with the national anthem, and there was like a guy, like he was an employee. I could hear him doing vocal warm-ups, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then they played a recording, and I was like, what the heck? And then we were in line like trying to scan our ticket, and then they're like, and here's Jace.
Oh, you're talking about the first day.
Yeah, the first day.
On July 4th, 2026, there was no national anthem.
Which was so weird.
It was weird.
Anyway.
Anywho, all right, let's close it out. So, Creator Spotlight this week. Last time, which was forever and a half ago, we did a Creator Spotlight on our friend Annie. Now we're going to highlight her partner, JP, who we thought deserved his own slide, because in addition to being a awesome makeup artist, a terrific scare actor, now manager at Fear Complex, along with Annie. JP also is a photographer, and a pretty great one. So he does a lot of backstage photography at haunts and of scare actors, but he also does his own thing. Really just all around talented dude. And he's a really good friend of ours. So we wanted to give him his own shout out. These did not come across super well when I typed them out, but these are meant to be like a long underscore. And if you type illusory, you'll eventually pretty much just come across them regardless of whether or not the underscores are there. But the underscores are what make his account unique. At this time, only Instagram and TikTok, but you'll find him. It's good stuff. I'm sure he'll grow. Next live stream, once again, is going to be more than 2 weeks out, but that is because we are actually leaving on our next trip much sooner than you might think.
Next Friday.
It's less than 2 weeks away. For those who were not there for the summer trip announcements live stream, we are going to Oregon. We're going to do a lot of fun stuff out west, and then we'll roll right into some Busch Gardens adventures, which we may or may not vlog. If we do, we probably won't vlog much of it, but going out with friends to Busch Gardens and celebrating a birthday out there. So we'll be gone for 2 weeks, in about 2 weeks, and then we'll be back for the next live stream after that. And we'll do a Oregon trip report. Is the plan.
All right.
But yeah.
Well, thank you for hanging out with us. Let us know if you've been to Cedar Point, what your favorite coasters were or least favorite. Yeah. And check out our friend JP Illusory.
Thank you guys for tuning in. The vlogs are coming. The Cedar Point vlog will be a couple weeks out, and then
our next vlog is going to be
Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita.
Casa Bonita.
The last one from our Colorado trip.
Adios, amigos. Perfect timing for the Casa Bonita dance.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for joining. We're excited to share more vlog content with you. See you when we see you.
and I'm
Tim.
Okay.
I know how it ends.
I was like, wait, are we not doing it?
Oh my God. This has been a disaster.
We're a little rusty.
I'm Tim.
I am Katie.
And every night
is a new adventure.
We'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.